What's up, everybody? My name is Bonk Smooth, and I did not sleep last night, so the beginning of this video is going to sound a little bit tired. I'm also kind of on a time crunch, so we're not really going to upload it with any visual effects. Sorry about that. Treat this one like a podcast, and we'll try hard to get those visual effects up for next one. Thank you so much for tuning into my live streams. I broke 2,000 live viewers for the first time ever the other day. Not to glaze myself or anything, but that's kind of insane to think about. Thank you guys so much. In this video, we're going to cover all the patch notes. I'm going to tell you exactly what I think about them, and then later on, we're going to have a section called Bonk Speculation, where I talk about who I think will be on the leaderboard and who belongs there. That's the leaderboard right now. Take a peek. Kind of weird. But I'll explain it. Stay tuned. MegaBonk just had its biggest patch yet, and the quality of life bonuses are insane, as well as many characters getting much needed buffs. So let's take a brief moment of dev appreciation. As I've seen some games have terrible direction, it seems like our dev has a great head on his shoulders, makes great decisions, and is responding to community concerns. Speaking of concerns, I've got a hat today to hide the fact that making a YouTube video and streaming every day for the past month has really made all my hair fall out. We're close to 30 days of content creation for this beautiful game, and I've enjoyed every stressful minute of it. Thank you so much for joining me on that journey and watching. Let's start off with the big ones, the map and opacity settings. The map can be accessed in two ways, one by pressing and holding tab, and the second way by pausing the game and clicking the map button. Holding tab will not pause the game, so be careful that you don't get too lost in the sauce looking for loot. The map is a great tool that you can use to plan out your runs and boss fights. Take note that the sections you haven't been are covered in a thick fog. This allows you to make sure to yoink all the loot and charge shrines before moving on. Great for the Chaos Tome unlock, if you're still struggling with it. Charge shrines are a light bluish green color, and I would give the map a good look every time I'm leaving a zone just to make sure I didn't miss anything, or right before a tough boss fight to see if there's any power-ups nearby to help. It can really save your run. Opacity. For anyone that remembers the 6-hour Size Tome Bandit runs, this update is a godsend. No more flamewalkers burning your eyeballs and no more seizures. Thank you, dev, for implementing this in such a timely manner. This thing is actually so nice. I think towards the end of all my runs, I'll just be setting it to 0 to take out enemies with my mind powers and to save my eyeballs from the stress. You also notice there's a smart opacity setting. It just turns it down automatically when things get too intense. You can find this slider in the Effects tab all the way to the right of the menu, and turning opacity off can really help your FPS if your machine struggles with the game, by the way. Another neat little addition is that the Silver Tome can now be toggled off, for rich people like me who have billions of silver and nothing to do with it. If you don't know what toggling is, just complete 40-ish quests and you'll see it in the in-game shop. Now to the balance portion. Fox gains a huge buff with 2% luck per level instead of their old 1%. The dev is a furry confirmed. Just kidding, I won't be making any serious allegations, but buffing Noelle and Birdo and Fox in the same patch? I think I know what type of man you are, Mr. Dev. Now back to the balance portions. Fox is really good now. Still held back by their weapon being kinda mid, but in a world where weapons still don't really matter nearly as much as items, Fox is a really strong choice right now. And honestly, their runs are just really enjoyable because luck is one of the most fun stats to have. Getting gold items and level ups feels really nice compared to green and blue. Birdo is gaining 1% airborne damage per level onto their passive, and in my opinion this makes Birdo a really viable character for challenges due to them already having newbie-friendly movement options like double jump and gliding every single run. Now, if we could just make Tornado not suck, Birdo would rise up. Bush gets their third buff in a row. 0.5% crit damage per level becomes 1% crit damage per level, which is a pretty meaningful difference, I think. So definitely grab your crit tome and your high damage weapons. Additionally, the bullseye effect will appear more often on enemies, and the explosion now scales with size multiplier. Bush should definitely grab Size Tome or at least Chaos Tome and blow up the whole map. Bush is no stranger to blowing things up. Don't be surprised if you see some Bush on the leaderboard. Megachad's passive allows him to gain 2.5% damage every time you flex. Naturally, if you pick up a Kevin, you'll be flexing a lot. Generally, Megachad's timing for the flex starts close to 10-second cooldown, but it gets down to about 4 seconds cooldown when he's leveled up a good amount. Fun fact, you can actually tell when Megachad is ready to flex by a little yellow star appearing over his hitbox. It's a really nice visual cue. Get that damage up, gang. Stay flexing. One thing I'd also like to mention is the purple mirror item will have a blue star, but if you have that, then you might not be flexing. So I don't know. I don't know if you want to banish it on him, especially if you don't have a Kevin. Anyway, Noelle gets a nice upgrade on her passive. Instead of duration per level, she will be gaining size in all the right places. I'm talking, of course, about her weapons and items, you freak. She also gains 0.02 damage from every currently frozen enemy. So 50 frozen enemies equals 2 times damage. This thing is working strangely. I had a weird run yesterday where I spawned in with 6.7 times damage multiplier. So my weapons were hitting for like 70 damage per hit or something. Some buggy things are definitely happening with Noelle right now. She is going to have some crazy runs due to this bug. You might see her add a zillion kills, maybe. There's also some tech with Noelle where you would get so much duration that you could just freeze the ghost and live forever. But we think that's gone and probably won't come back, especially because duration is no longer her passive, but I don't know, we could see some crazy Noelle stuff still happening. Robinette is getting a buff nerf. Her early game and mid game are buffed, allegedly, due to the changes in her passive, but her late game is going to be much less insane. She was reaching ridiculous numbers, so this absolutely had to happen. She's still going to be very playable and decent because the meta is item-centric, and she's still rewarded for taking Gold Tome. So if you just get those OP items, you can have an OP run and scale very early like you have to get a high score. Dicehead's passive is buffed. Now previously his rewards were halved by level 25, but now they're halved by 50. Old Dicey's gonna be a little bit stronger than previously, but nothing crazy. He was always a decent character to begin with. So W Dicehead. He's a fun character. Calcium's passive has been buffed and simplified, by the way. He gains 0.75 damage per level, and 0.5 damage per 1% speed multiplier. This damage is applied gradually as Calcium gains speed, so work on zooming around the map to get the most of it. Ogre's passive has been buffed from 1% to 1.5%. I don't know that this is crazy enough for us to see much of Ogre, but he'll at least be okay for now. It's not Ogre yet, I guess. I wouldn't be surprised to see him buffed again. Maybe. We'll see. Garv's damage is going from 33% to 50%, which in my opinion is basically just a Birdo buff. I think there could be some techniques developed where you could Scarf max on Birdo, banish every other purple, and just keep flying around the map during the Ghost Wave, crowd controlling the enemies. We'll see if that develops, but I think there's room for potential there, certainly. Next, Brass Knuckles are getting a much needed buff, changing their damage from additive to flat, which is going to make the scaling stronger, and it's also going to increase the size of the item based on the amount you have stacked. In other words, 1 knuckle will require you to be close to enemies, but 10 will let you be much further away. I'm not sure if this is enough for me to toggle them on, but it's nice to see a change, and it's great to see the size go up because their size radius was so small before. Spaceman gets the most insane buff in the world. Get ready for Spaceman meta, guys. He is coming. The Spacemen are real, and they're here. They are coming. Just kidding, his buff is he doesn't take fall damage now. He still needs some love, in my opinion. So actual huge buffs to the Curse Doll, by the way. It can curse up to 5 enemies every second. The Curse Doll is absolutely pumping out damage, and in my opinion should be toggled on for most runs. You'll see it topping your damage charts in no time. The Curse Doll is so much better now than it used to be. It used to only target 1 enemy. Now it can target 5 every second. The dev has also said he'll be working on a Halloween update if he can finish it in time. I think that'd be great to get a fun skin or two, but who knows what he has in store. I think it'll be great to see if this game does have some seasonal updates and stuff like that just to keep it fresh and fun. This has been Big Balding Smooth signing out. Enjoy this huge patch, and it's just a W all around. Good job, dev, no glaze. Now it's time for a section I'd like to call Bonk Bonk Speculation, because that's what the bbsmooth stands for in my name, by the way. That's just a little fun fact for you, if you didn't know. The leaderboard can already be seen to have Noelle's on it, a little bit of Robinette, and a little bit of Megachad. I think if these are all legitimate runs, that this is maybe how the leaderboard will be looking. You might see a fox, and you might see an occasional bush, But aside from these characters, I don't think you'll see many other ones. Chadwell could always make an appearance due to just having a good difficulty scaling passive. But that's it. I think Noelle probably has that bug running rampant right now, and that's why we're seeing her up top. But even without the bug, I think she's still decent. Robinette is still very much good enough to be on that leaderboard. She still scales very fast. And the whole point of getting on the leaderboard is to scale as fast as humanly possible and survive those tier 1 and tier 2 ghost waves as long as possible. So Robinette's still a great character for that. The Megachad thing is a bit of a surprise. You would think his damage wouldn't scale fast enough from his passive, but I think anybody can have a really good run. And that's been our Bonk speculation.